Assalamu alaikum. So this is just going to be a short video. I just saw this kind of a viral tweet on Twitter from Anglo Respecter 40K, and her ad is Tinkzorg. And it's about this dish. Apparently, she's a like a culinary expert from like North Germanic roots. So I think she's from like Sweden. Anyway, she's talking about this dish called Flasklagg and Rotmos, um, which admittedly I've never heard of before. I've never eaten much Swedish cuisine before. I mean, looking at the dish, it doesn't look like something to Western, even North American or non-Germanic eyes, something that would be that appealing. But she describes the dish. She says this ham hock is boiled with carrots, allspice, which apparently is used in a lot of Nordic cuisine, and onions until ready to eat. But then the carrots, rutabaga, and tomatoes are added to the broth from the ham hock and boiled until soft. You then prepare the mashed potatoes, except with a bunch of root vegetables added to the potatoes. The saltiness of the ham, the mild sweetness of the mashed roots, and the fiery tang of the Scanian mustard all combine to form a positively sublime dish. And here's the part that really went viral. Imagine being a Muslim and not being able to eat this. Just imagine. I won't, because I couldn't live without Rotmos and Flasklagg. Just another example of why North Germanic food is the best food in the world. So obviously she's setting herself up, and a lot of Muslims responded, and non-Muslims too, talking about how awful the dish is. Thank Allah that I'm Muslim. A lot of choice words for this particular dish. And I'm not here to scold my Muslim brethren about this. Obviously, if she's going to like say, like put herself out there and say, boo-hoo, you're a Muslim, you can't eat pork, so you're not able to eat this dish. But there's a lot to digest here, no pun intended. First of all, I mean, obviously, this is Twitter. This is, I'm not expecting, people to embody the prophetic behavior. And, I say that to myself first and foremost. I mean, social media, it's the garbage dump of people's thoughts. You're not going to get people when they're at their best, and the people are in a bad mood. Of course, they're going to insult other people. So yeah, I mean, the prophetic behavior is to not insult people's national cuisine, or if they give you something evil, respond to something with that which is better, right? So again, I mean, I'm scrolling through the quote tweets. I don't think I saw one Muslim there say, look, I mean, yeah, it doesn't look appealing, but this is very easily adaptable into a halal style. I mean, you just don't use pork. I mean, you can take lamb, which probably looks like this would be the best option, given the taste palette here. I myself am not a fan of rutabaga or yams. I do like mustard, like the spicy, tangy, Grey Poupon style, fancy mustard. I'll usually put that in like a halal BLT or things like that. But it just shows you. I mean, any type of food is adaptable into an Islamic halal style. I mean, there's no such thing as Muslim food, right? And based on the comments of what we see here from my Muslim brethren, it obviously looks that way. I mean, they're posting things of cuisine from back home. And admittedly, I love biryani, I love Indonesian food, I love Arabic food, I love all of it. This obviously doesn't appeal to me the way that it looks, but again, I mean, some people do like it. I mean, think about people who were born and raised in Sweden or Finland. This is the food that they grew up on, right? So, we've been talking about having like a Euro halal cookbook. You take European dishes and then you just get rid of the pork or the alcohol that they cook with it. You get halal meat, and then you can very easily adapt it that way. And that's what Muslims from Sweden, Swedish descendant Muslims should be doing, and what Muslims from a non-Swedish background in Sweden should be encouraging as well. Get the Swedish converts to collectivize and at least create something that goes back to their traditional cuisine, their traditional dress, and so on and so forth, to show that Islam is universal and that it's for everybody. I mean, so many different non-Muslim countries cook with a lot of pork. Like, perfect example of which is China. Like Chinese people, they're known for cooking with pork or using pork fat. But if you go to Xi'an, where it's majority Hui Muslim, you get to eat Chinese food that's all halal, right? So, and that this could have been a great teaching moment. It's for, I think, again, her name is Anglo, respect her 40K. And I quote tweeted, I said, look, I mean, this is very adaptable into a halal style. And, again, I don't think she's looking for education at this point. I mean, yeah, I mean, she's, obviously posting things that are inflammatory, that are incendiary, and was expecting to get a rise out of Muslims, which basically she gets what she wanted, right? You're basically falling into her trap. But putting all that aside, these, like anti-Islam European nationalists and stuff, like there are other people who are looking at this and going, yeah, I mean, this is stupid what she said. But, what a perfect opportunity to say, what, Islam is for all cultures. Yeah, we can't eat pork. And yeah, this isn't my cup of tea. But, hey, if you grew up eating Flasklagg and Rotmos, this is very easily adaptable into a halal style. You just switch the pork with lamb, which would be, I would try it out. I mean, again, you don't have to enjoy the particular cuisine as something that you eat every day to appreciate it. I mean, a lot of cuisines throughout the world, they have dishes that are, they're more of a dare than anything else, So yeah, that's my 2 cents. So yeah, my message to, Tingzorg or Anglo Spectre 40K. Again, you got what you got what you deserved. You knew that Muslims are going to respond and say that your cuisine is terrible, which you can then use to say, look, see, haha, Muslims don't like, they don't like European culture. They're, like replacing our culture and things like that. And, the things that, they use as like recruiting posters, for nationalist groups across Europe. But again, at the end of the day, for the people who are rational, who have like a head on their shoulders and say, look, yeah, I want to know more about Islam, even though I don't understand it. And, there's a civilizational conflict going on. It's still an opportunity to say, look, I mean, Islam has the opportunity to preserve the cuisines, the dress, the music to an extent, the stories, the slang, the language of all peoples, right? This is codified in our religion. And the term for it in Islam is called urf, URF, in which you're supposed to keep the good things of that people's culture, and just get rid of the things that are haram, right? So again, this is, like a very important concept in Islam. It's just that, when you have Muslim Twitter, you're not going to be able to, people aren't looking to give dawah on Muslim Twitter. Let's just put it that way. I mean, and I can understand where they're coming from because they don't interact with these people on a daily basis. And in their minds, they're thinking there's no way that this person's ever going to convert to Islam or even lower their anger towards Islam. But for us, I mean, for us converts, we have no choice. These are our friends and family. Tingzorg, I mean, maybe one of her daughters or sons will convert to Islam one day. And they're going to have to take this head on. Right. So again, that's my 2 cents for today. Maybe one day I'll if I have the money, maybe I'll make Flasklagg and Rotmos halal style, and then eat up as a halal iftar Swedish style. So that's my time for the day. I'm Robert from Islam for Europeans. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.